Hey everybody, welcome back. Well, today is the last day of the Cooking for Men series in January. We were supposed to do ribs in the smoker last week, but if you watch that video, you would know that it dropped down to below zero and my smoker wouldn't maintain a good heat at that low a temperature. Today, it's the following the weekend, and the temperature is up in the 20s, and the smoker will do fine for that. So what we're going to do is we're going to put a dry rub on a rack of ribs, and we're going to cook them up in the smoker. Right here we have a rack of ribs. These are not baby back ribs. These are more of a St. Louis style rib. And the first thing we're going to do to these ribs is get the silver skin off. So just take a knife or whatever you have, and the silver skin is right here. And you can see it as I pop it up. And what you're going to do is get your fingers under there, and it should just pop right off. There we go. That's half of it. Usually I can get this off in one shot, but not today. There we go. There. Now, I'm just going to throw that away. And this silver skin, it's a little tough. You're better off getting it off, and that'll be fine. So we're just going to throw that away. Okay, so now we got our silver skin off. We're going to put our rub on. Now, I keep some rub for our pork ribs on hand, but I wanted to let you know what is in it. So this is about 2 servings of it, and a single serving is a half a cup of brown sugar, a quarter cup of paprika, 1 tablespoon of black pepper, and 1 tablespoon of salt. I use a kosher salt. Then it's 1 teaspoon of chipotle, 1 tablespoon of garlic powder, 1 tablespoon of onion powder, and 1 teaspoon of cayenne pepper. Now this recipe, you can see, is written down. It's been augmented to fit our flavor, so although it has a little bit of cayenne in it, it's really more of a sweet rub. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to get some oil on our rib. Now I just have some canola oil here, and this is just to make sure that the rub really adheres well to the ribs all over the place. So you're going to get this canola oil on the whole thing, and then we're going to flip it over. We're going to do the same on the other side. Now you notice I'm wearing gloves. It's only because the rub, once you put the rub on, it'll stain your hands if you let it. So now what we're going to do is we're going to flip it over to the bone side. Okay? I'm going to take some of our rub, and we're just going to sprinkle it on. Just like that. Don't be afraid to put it right on there. And then just spread it out over the whole rack. You want a really good coating on it, because this is the side that's going to be down and is going to get a majority of the heat, and you'll get a nice bark on this side. Okay, come. So now that we've got that side done, we're just going to flip it over. And we're going to do the same thing on the other side. This is more of the meat side. Don't be afraid to use plenty of rub. You want that rub throughout the whole thing. Then what I'll do is I'll just pat it down. Make sure it's all patted down. Make sure you get rub on the sides. Now that it's got the rub on it, take the rubber gloves off, and we're going to let that sit while we get the smoker going. What we're going to do is we're going to go outside and we're going to preheat our smoker. I do my ribs at about 225, 250. And a rack like this will take 3 to 4 hours. And we're going to cook it all the way up to 180 degrees. Now, I know a lot of guys who do ribs in a smoker will smoke it like this, halfway through, take it out, smother it in mustard and honey, wrap it up in parchment paper and tinfoil, and put it back in the smoker. They do that, from what I understand, to keep it nice and juicy and keep it from getting dried out. I do it a little bit different, and I'm going to show you that a little bit later on, what I do to make sure that my ribs do not dry out. But we're going to put this in just like this, and it's going to cook just like this the whole time. So I'm going to go outside, get the smoker ready, and then we'll get this meat in the smoker. All right, let's get the smoker ready. Gonna open it up, turn the gas on. These are my wood chips. We only need one of these racks. So I'm going to take the rest of them out. That way they don't get dirty. This will be the rack that we use. I'll bring that in, put the ribs on. This is a water pan, very important. We're going to put some water in there. Keeps everything nice and moist. And this is our smoker box. So what we're going to do is turn it on. going to let that preheat. We're going to bring this in, get some water in it. We're going to get our ribs on this. Alright, we're back inside. One of the first things I'm going to do is my water tray. Now you can just put the water straight in. It doesn't matter. I take it and I line it with tin foil. And it just makes cleanup at the end a little bit easier. So, all you're going to do is line it just like that. That way when all the drippings drip into it, you can pour those out, pull the tinfoil out, and then it's just a quick wipe out. It doesn't get all nasty. Now, you don't want to fill this right up. You only want about a cup to 2 cups of water tops. Not a lot. And I take a little bit of apple cider vinegar and I just throw a splash in. So this is ready to go back out into the smoker. And I have my ribs on my rack with a thermometer in the ribs and a thermometer on the rack to tell me the temperature inside the smoker. So we're going to go outside. We're going to get this all in the smoker and we're going to get some wood chips on it. Alright, so the first thing we're going to do is get our water in. And that's going to sit right there like that. Next, we're going to get our rack of ribs in. If you look in here, this bar right here is the thermostat for the smoker. And I'm going to put these ribs right above that. And we're going to get this door closed. Now what we need to do is open our firebox up. And this is where the wood chips go. I'm just going to take some chips. And close this up. Close this up. Then we're going to take our thermometer. We're going to plug our probes in. That's going to sit right there, and because there's a wireless receiver for this inside, I'll be able to tell what the temperature of the stove is and what the temperature of my meat is. So let's go back inside, get warmed up, and we'll go through the rest of the process. Okay, we're back in the house. I have my meter set up. You can see here Probe 1 is the meat, and that's set up, and probe 2 is the oven. Right now the meat is 54 degrees, and the oven is at 300 degrees. Now that is because I opened the doors up, and it's flaming up. It will cool back down to about 250. You can cook these ribs all the way up to 300 degrees, so I'm not super worried about it. It'll just cook a little faster, but I'll keep an eye on it. If it doesn't go down, I'll go out and turn it down a little bit. So, like I said, we're going to cook these to 180 degrees, and that's going to take about 3 to 4 hours at 225 to 250. About halfway through, instead of taking it out, smothering it, and wrapping it, I'm going to take and I'm going to start glazing it with applesauce. That is going to bake into it. It's going to give it plenty of moisture and keep the meat nice and moist and give it a really good sweet apple taste. So we're going to keep an eye on this. We'll probably check back with you guys in about an hour and see how the ribs look at that point. Alright guys, we're about halfway, we're about an hour and a half in. I got my applesauce. This is homemade applesauce that we made and canned ourselves. So I'm just going to open that up and just going to get a good healthy amount in here. That's probably about right. So we're going to close this up. Our little baster. I'm going to put my jacket and my shoes on. We're going to take it out and we're going to baste up those ribs. Alright, let's see what we got. Oh, that's looking real good. Okay, that's it. We're going to do that probably every half hour to 45 minutes for the rest of the time. But while we're here, we'll check the smoke box. Move your head, Rocco. Yeah, let's put another piece of wood in. That should do it. We'll come back out in about a half hour, 45 minutes. Alright guys, we're almost there. I have glazed this over several times already, but let's open it up, take a peek, and give it one more glaze. Okay, so that's probably the last glaze we're going to put on it. It's at about 162 degrees right now, but we're going to cook it actually to about 180. So we've probably got about 45 minutes to an hour left, and we're going to come out and we're going to check it, and we'll bring it inside and we'll show you what it looks like when it's done. Oh, it's starting to get dark out here. Our ribs are up to temperature, so we're going to pull those out and take a look at them. Oh, look at that. That looks perfect. All right. That is that. Close this up. Turn it off. All right, we're going to get those ribs inside. We'll get cut into them. We'll show you what they look like. Alrighty guys, our ribs have rested for about 6 minutes now. We're going to cut into them and see how they look. Hopefully it'll be okay. The lighting here in the house is not that great. So let's just see what we have. Oh, look at that, guys. That looks perfect. It's got a nice smoke ring along it. That looks nice. You can see it's nice and juicy still. I'll show you one of these. That looks perfect. Look at the juice still coming out of it. Same on this side. Look at that nice smoke ring. Alright guys, that is delicious. And a little disgusting. But that is ribs in the smoker in the winter time. I hope you enjoyed that, and I hope you enjoyed the Cooking for Men series that we did in January. We cooked up some pretty good meals. Very simple, very easy to make. Feel free to go back and check those out if you feel like it. And thank you everybody for joining us and following our channel. And if you're new to our channel, if you could hit the subscribe button, hit that like button, and hit that bell, it'll let you know every time we got a video coming out. Alright guys, till the next one, we'll see you later. Bye-bye.